What is going on, everybody? Welcome to another episode of What Do You Think This Is? Do you think this is the hockey show, the football show, just because we're in the beginning of September and maybe I'm not going to have time for the OG podcast, the comedy podcast, the podcast where it all started here on the channel with the bunkers behind me, which you can see that I completed my tasks as I teased throughout the course of the summer, because the summer is a time where you get things done. I always encourage people throughout the course of the summer. That's like one of two key periods throughout the year where if you have tasks that you're just kind of putting off to the side, that's when you get them done. Because, at the end of summer, we've talked about it. All the mystique has worn off, all the Memorial Day and 4th of July fun and parties. If you go to the same exact party, if you go to a bar, a really popular place, and you go on Memorial Day weekend versus Labor Day weekend, you can feel the difference in energy. It's usually 70% is full, and it doesn't have that same sort of excitement. And that's why I always have used August as one of two times throughout the year to get some stuff done. And what do you mean? Like, what are you talking? What do I really need to get done? I know you had to build that studio, but what else? Do you want to know what the other thing is? The other thing that I suggest for you that you should kind of do in either August or in December, anytime after Thanksgiving, when the winter really kind of starts to come on. And I've already told you guys on this show many times, nothing good happens after Thanksgiving Eve. That whole cuffing season ends on Thanksgiving Eve. It's just a dead period to take care of some things around the holiday season. And I'm talking about the stuff we always put off, like doctor's visits and dentist visits. I mean, I know there are some guys out there, you're probably like me, you're probably like my friend. Sometimes you'll go 9 years in between visits. But, when you got to get a tooth extracted because you waited so long and now you need the full dental implant. My suggestion is do it at the end of the summer. Do it at the end of the summer, because once football starts, once kickoff starts, I don't care. I'm just dying with a rotten tooth in my mouth because I'm not going anywhere near that dentist, which is going to make me miss some random week 3 useless game between like the Jets and the New England Patriots. But, it means a lot after a summer of watching nothing and having nothing to be excited for. If you're a sports guy like me, maybe you're a reality show chick who watches this show and you don't know what I'm talking about and you really just want me to move on. Well, I will let you know that I went to the doctor. I went to the doctor right at the end of the summer, and here's the deal. The last time I went was 5 years ago. Oh, how can you do that? Yeah, I did it. You're lucky I went this year. You're lucky I went 5 years later, but I went. And it's one of those things. I know you've heard all sorts of different sayings like, if you don't know that you don't have something, then you don't have to lie when you're asked if you have tuberculosis or whatever the hell it is that you're scared about. Because I've actually had a really good year. My year has been really good on multiple fronts. And the way my mind works, I don't know if your mind works like this. Everything's working well with the videos for the most part. I went to Italy. Everything's going well. Is it not the perfect time to screw me with the brutal health news? I mean, it's almost like they're trying to lull me to a false sense of security. So I do want to let you know that I got my results back from my blood test and the urine test. The urine test is a funny little process in and of itself. Now, I can't speak for women on this. They just sit down and pee in a cup, I suppose. But the go to the doctor, pee in a cup process, it begs a question or two. I want to know I don't want to know what you do, because when you go in there with that little urine sample cup, what do? Are you an early cup filler? Do you start the process? Do you blast the hose right from the top? But then what do you? Then you got to kind of lean it towards the top, or do you get the bulk out and save the ending, a more controlled finish for the urine sample, because I know you're not doing it in the middle. It's basically two extremes. And I don't want to know what you did. Or am I going to tell you what I did? Absolutely not. Everybody's urine sample practices and philosophies are kept to themselves. But I will say this, you run the risk. If you're the last drops guy, you don't know how much what if you overestimate how much was left and then they administer the incorrect urine sample? Anyway, I'll stop talking about the urine samples. I did find it fascinating that when you're done, they have like the Ghostbusters trap. Once they have a ghost in it, they just kind of deposit it into this wall. That's what you do with your urine sample. You just kind of close this thing and push it at a wall. And then you get those test results back in a couple weeks. The test results with everything. And I got the message. The way it works now is you get an inbox. So I got like an auto-generated message saying your test results are available in your digital inbox. So I can look at them, find out. But the way my mind works, I need to enjoy a few weeks of football first. So I've had the test results available for about 17 days. But I think I need to get through like 4 weeks of the NFL, but just in case, because with my luck, I'm going to open that thing and I'm going to have the Dallas Buyers Club McConaughey news. The worst news ever is going to be in those results. And don't tell me they would have called. No, they wouldn't have. You think they care? They get to say, oh, I sent the results and he can view them and then he can follow the correct course of action. So I have doctor's test results with my blood. They're going to tell me everything that's wrong with me, but I refuse to open them just so I can enjoy my favorite time of the year, which is the fall. And it just reminds me, I remember over the summer, somebody tweeted, they put this preposterous tweet out there. And now that we're in the fall and I could be reminded of how awesome it is, this donkey, but all the seasons are equally good. People should care less about the weather. Are you nuts? Have you gone outside? I have my own philosophy, which you can see on your screen right now if you're watching on YouTube. Every day that is the closest to room temperature weather, that's the best season. Room temperature has been universally agreed as the best temperature. That's what every house you walk in is set to. Room temperature. What season has that temperature the most? And that's the best season of the year. And that's where we are right now. And maybe I'll even wait to the winter to open those results. But, then it goes, they'll probably expire after 60 days or something like that. But hopefully I'm healthy. I continue to do what I'm doing here, build the YouTube channel, and I try to parlay my YouTube success into my ultimate goal, something that I've wanted to do for years. If you know me, I want to play Charles in the reboot, which I'm going to have to kind of commandeer myself, the Charles in Charge reboot, the remake of Charles in Charge, and I'm obviously playing Charles. And if you don't know what that is, you can go look it up. Charles lives in the basement of this family and he watches the kids. Well, I want to do the same thing. And the original Charles, we'll get to that in a second. But I want to do the same thing where someone like me has to live in the basement, take care of a family's group of kids, and I live downstairs, and hilarity ensues as the differences between generations are brought to the forefront in season 1 of Charles in Charge. Cue the Charles in Charge theme. That would get me a strike on YouTube, and I won't play for you, but you should definitely listen because it's a catchy jingle, even if you listen to the Family Guy version.
Charles in Charge of our days and our nights.
I think I told you guys this. I think I was just born slightly in the wrong generation. Many people say that, like, I was born in the wrong generation. Like I saw this post on Twitter that said, is it me or does this girl just have 70s face? And she does. That the girl you see on your screen, if you're watching on YouTube, she has a 1970s face. And that is a real thing. You can have the face that fits a certain time period. And that girl right there, put her on a 1970s Hollywood poster, put her, at some horse racing event or playing the wife of someone who plays polo on the regular, that girl would fit right in with that. And that tweet that you see, I responded with my own one with a picture of Dr. Death Steve Williams. And I said, I don't know, but there's definitely a face for every decade. Clear 80s face here. And once again, if you're watching on YouTube, or even if you're just listening and you have the time, go Google Dr. Death Steve Williams, and you're going to see a guy with a straight up early 1980s face that looks like he would be your junior high football coach or something. Classic 80s face. And me, let's just be honest. I have late 80s into early 90s face. I'm right there with the trio of stars from that era. The Charles in Charge star, Scott Baio, Ralph Macchio, Tony Danza, Andy Francess. I have late 90s face, and I need it. I need it to come back around, because fads come back around. Fads come back around. Like if I was watching these kids, they would all have like the Patrick Mahomes hair that everyone has, which is really just a rebranding of the original AC Slater hair. I mean, is this going to be the hairstyle that defines the 2020s, by the way? Like I was just showing you those previous decades. The Mahomes. I cannot believe that this preposterous hairstyle it's not only caught on, it has remained on. I thought this would just go, all right, look, it's the Mahomes and he's got the mullet Brillo and just kind of there. But people are still rocking it. I see young kids rocking the Mahomes. They don't even have curly hair. So it ends up looking just kind of like one of those mullets, Jeff Foxworthy. And I guess that's where we're at with these hairstyles. And I'll tell you, if I didn't grow up where I grew up watching the DJ Pauly D blowout hairstyle become the norm, then I wouldn't even believe this like Mahomes hairstyle trend was even possible, that I could ever become popular like that. In fact, no more than 2 weeks ago, this is 1000% a true story, I saw the wildest iteration of the DJ Pauly D hairstyle at the gym. So I was exiting the place, and you walk down a flight of stairs. So somebody entered the gym. They were walking up a flight of stairs. The guy had the DJ Pauly D blowout. Interesting hairstyle to work out with, by the way. But instead of having a full head of hair, he had a balding hole, like where somebody would the George Costanza balding hole in the back. And while I really wanted to like make fun of it, like, oh my God, this guy's trying to rock a DJ Pauly D with a huge bald spot, when you actually step back and think about it, that's really the only way somebody should be rocking the DJ Pauly D blowout, with a big bald spot. Because now that's how a crown is supposed to look. You're supposed to have the spikes going up and then just your bald head in the middle. Interesting hairstyle to rock. But as far as Mahomes goes, he's back right out there again, rocking it for another season. If you watched that quarterback show last year, he said, there's only so long I could be a dad and have this hairstyle. But I guess when push came to shove, a lot of people say what they're going to do. He's still out there rocking it. And like I had just mentioned at the top, one of the main attractions of the fall is the return of what I like to call the real sports, NFL football, not college, and NHL hockey. And if you're like me, you want to watch as many games as you can. You want to watch all the games. But just know that if you do, it's going to cost you a pretty penny. Because do you want to know what the best part about the NFL is? Honestly, it's that it's more powerful than the United States government. It is. And I know you're laughing. Yeah, okay, it's more powerful. It is. Do you remember during COVID, every single league around the world, they were shut down. Every league, we got to cancel everything. No, baseball's down to 20 games. They got cardboard in the outfield. No, everything has to shut down. The NFL finished their season in February, normal time with the Super Bowl, and they opened up in Kansas City on time, early September, with a crowd there. Every other sport had to do these parlor jugglers tricks with a plate here and a this there. This guy's active. In 2 weeks, he's the NFL just plowed through everything. No regulations. Nobody stopped them. Nobody shut them down, because that's who they are. That's how many people fall victim to the power of the NFL. Nobody could stop them. Doesn't matter. And do you remember how crazy it was during COVID times? You go to hang out with a chick, you were a villain. You were demonized by society. not the NFL. You know, a couple months back, the NFL, it was found guilty in a court of law for literally charging too much money for Sunday ticket. A court came down and said, listen, these people, like, they're just out there. They want to watch football. You're charging way too much for Sunday ticket. There's an allowable amount, a ridiculous amount to charge somebody for watching the NFL, and you just went over that. Like, there's a max amount you can charge for the NFL. You took a ton of money over the years, and we need you to give like a little bit back. We need you to give some of that money back because it was ridiculous. You want to know what the NFL did? Do you think they were worried after losing a lawsuit? They lost. So they were ordered to pay the damages. They said, okay, all right. Magically, a couple weeks later, another judge comes, strikes that down, and then the NFL comes back and goes, yeah, actually, looks like we're not paying anybody anything. And now that you mention it, Sunday ticket, yeah, those prices are going to be like a clean $650, $680, $750 if you want to include Red Zone. That's what the prices are this year. If you go to the App Store on your iPhone and you want to download NFL Sunday ticket and include Red Zone, $750, a mere 2 months after being told they have to pay everybody who had Sunday ticket in the last decade a certain amount of money back. They got a judge to throw that out the window and then just jacked up their prices like a good extra 30 or 40%. I'm telling you, there are two organizations in this country you do not want to be on bad terms with. The first is Scientology. They literally beat the IRS in court. They went head to head with the IRS, who had an undefeated record. Nobody beats them. And if you go look up the tactics that they use to beat the IRS, that's not a company that you want to mess with. If you got on their bad side, they purchase actual houses across from where you live. So you live somewhere, you better hope every family on that block isn't selling, because they're going to buy every house. And this is true. Unless somebody from Scientology is watching this, and I'm just kidding, this is for entertainment, I would never speak bad about you. But in the event somebody's not watching, they'll buy the house across the street from you and just make your life a living hell. They take your garbage before the garbage trucks come. You do not want to mess with them. But then the other one is the NFL. You speak poorly about them, I'm scared to speak poorly about them. That's why I said my favorite sport to watch, the NFL. I'll be watching every single week. I love it. Not college football. That doesn't count. The NFL. I'm doing a song and a dance over here. But what a heavyweight battle that would be. That would be WrestleMania 30. That would be Hulk Hogan versus Andre the Giant. The unstoppable force versus the immovable object. You have Goodell versus Miscavige. I'm telling you, that would be a heavyweight battle. Maybe Hogan versus Andre isn't the best depiction. It would be like a supervillain versus a supervillain. And if I had to take a side on that one, I wonder who you're going with at home. Because remember, Scientology can really get down there with the tactics. But when all is said and done, I'm taking Goodell. I think no regulations can stop Goodell. COVID, this, that, and the other. They literally don't have to adhere to anything, in my opinion. I think the NFL would beat certain countries in war. I'm not even kidding. That's how popular that league is. That's how much money it generates. And I would take them. They are the most powerful company in the United States. No, it's not fake. I know you're saying, no, but social media companies, they can sway elections. Just hope that Goodell doesn't want to. If someone says that lawsuit's coming back, that president's going to lose real quick. Maybe we should look into the presidential shooting that happened. Let's see if there was any Goodell ties. I'm just joking. Don't know. Conspiracy theory, this, that, and the other. But if you don't want to pay $650 to watch the awful quarterback play you've been seeing going around the NFL, don't worry. Your old pal Andy, who not only makes you money on the NFL, but now saves you money on the NFL, has a solid scam for you. I may have talked about this once. Don't worry about it, because last podcast I realized there was no scam of the week. But I've got multiple for you this week, so let's cue it up. Scam of the week.
It's a scam.
That's a scam.
What a scam that
So
was.
this was all a scam, huh?
Or should I say scams of the week? The first up, the Sunday ticket college scam, or the Sunday ticket university scam. And what that is if you're a college student or anybody you know is a college student, you get to purchase Sunday ticket for a mere $150, literally like 80% off, as long as you're affiliated with a college. And what's crazy, the NFL has a way to authenticate your college status. Like, I tried putting in fake information. Nope, it goes, you do not go to that university. I don't know this system that they have, but every real student I put in, it verified. Any sort of this guy graduated a year ago. The NFL is getting continual rolling lists of people who are now graduated. What if you drop out? Can you imagine that? You drop out week 3, you go to watch Sunday Ticket, and it's actually been snapped up. You're not in school anymore. But what you can do, if you know anybody in college, you just need their information for Sunday Ticket, and you can get it for $125. It's the Sunday Ticket college scam.
It's a scam.
And the second scam, this one is more technologically oriented. As you can see, and as I teased, I was redoing the studio. It's mostly done. It's pretty much all done. And throughout the course of building the studio, I needed all these little strings, these little hooks. There were some very specific items that I didn't really know the name to. I wasn't sure. So I did the best I could to describe it in Amazon. And they always gave me something that was just like what I wanted. Like, I just kind of wanted that. I'm like, you know what? If that's the best and it doesn't really have something sticky on the bottom, but it has a hook there, you know what? I'll order that. It's the we thought you might like this scam. After I cash out and after it's already been finalized and the order is already confirmed and y'all preparing for shipment, the next screen they say, we thought you might like, and then it shows me the item I wanted. I checked everywhere for the item. After the first purchase was made, they show me the item that I actually wanted. Yeah, that's right. I think they're withholding the item you do want so that you purchase one that you almost wanted, and they know you're not going to do the immediate return on that. I know some of you are, but out of 100 people, even if 7 don't, that's a huge win for them. So it's the we thought you might like this scam.
You know what I think? I think it's a scam.
And then scam of the week number 3. Things are obviously getting busier for me here with football and hockey and all that stuff. And on top of all of the stuff that I do, by the way, I have a full-time job. It's very hard for me to just keep up with all my tasks on all these things. I'm trying to update the Patreon so those people have all the latest information, but then I hear a notification. You may have heard a notification in the back of this episode. I swear I've heard 3 of them. That's from my other job. I have too much work to do.
Why don't you get a job?
You want me to tell you about the George Costanza scam I have? The in-house outsource scam? I think that we should be able to pay our coworkers who do our same jobs money to do our jobs. Like, if there are 5 people who do a certain amount of tasks, you know, everybody in this country, nobody ever gets raises. Everybody always gets repeatedly screwed. So you should be able to offer your own raise to a coworker to take on your tasks, and that will free up more time for you to do whatever it is you need to do in this world. But it's the in-house outsourced scam where you hire other people to do your job so that you can do another one. And it's kind of like what Christina Applegate did in Don't Tell Mom the Babysitter's Dead, if you ever saw that movie, except it's way more honorable, because in that movie, some poor girl had to do all the work and she got none of the rewards for it. I, on the other hand, I'm paying somebody to do it. I am rewarding somebody. Do you guys want another one? I really think I got another scam. You want a 4th scam of the week? This is what the scams are like. If I don't do an episode in a while, they all just start building up. This one I think you're really going to like.
It's a scam.
That's a scam.
What a scam that
So
was.
this was all a scam, huh?
If you find yourself in need of something from somebody, but you haven't talked to that person in a while, you know that you haven't talked to somebody in a long time, and then you might need something because they have access to something or they know somebody who could help, but you're like, oh my God, if I reach out to this guy, they're going to think This guy just hits me up when he needs something. So what you do, you use Google Voice, you use another phone number, and you text, "Hey, it's Andy. Just wanted to give you my new number." Because now you cover yourself on many fronts, because it's a solid dual method to reach out to them. And by virtue of having a new number, it insinuates that A, there was a need for a new number, hence a good reason why I wasn't able to reach out in the last couple of however many months. And B, now that, look, I like you so much that I reached out to you to give you the new number. And by the way, can we get that table at the place that you have the connection with? And that is the scam, plural, scams of the week.
It's a scam.
Hopefully you guys find the need for that. And if you're thinking like, Andy, but people don't really think that. If they see a name come in and they see a text, like, oh, they think it's nice to hear. No, they don't. As you get older, I told you, things become less enjoyable. I broke down the age versus nothing's new / nothing's as fun as those kids who, that rock, paper, scissor, who I said, if Margot Robbie called me for a one night stand, I wouldn't have been as happy as those kids from that video. Well, it's the same type of thing. When you receive, my uncle used to tell me about the mailbox, like, oh, there's no mail. He goes, good. No news is good news. The older you get, just like those doctors' test results, the news tends to skew in one direction. But hey, I don't want to end the episode like this. I don't want to end the episode like this. I want to talk about some good stuff, but I do got to sneak one more bad one in. I got to sneak one last bad thing. And then, it can be a miserable podcast, but then if I end it with that one good thumbs up thing to say, it's, speaking of George Costanza, like, leave on a high note, I'll leave on a positive note, but I got one more negative one, and it's not negative in my opinion. I once stated, I did a video about it. What's always fascinating to me are the trivial things that people list as their deal breakers, the something that's non-negotiable for me. You know how many times I've seen somebody list sushi? Sushi's the deal breaker. I mean, you want to be an abusive alcoholic who beats your kids and cheats on me? That's kind of okay. But if you don't eat sushi, this isn't going to work. I obviously say this as a non-sushi eater, so I do have somewhat of a biased opinion here, but I eat chicken teriyaki, I wolf steak teriyaki. You want to go to a Japanese place? I'll go 15 times a week if you really want to. But it's not the same. But you're not actually eating the sushi. All right. If sushi is the basis for which you forge your emotional connections, then I guess you shouldn't really come crying to me if you end up in Manson's trunk. I thought it was a preposterous way to look at you're going to choose a partner based on this person liking sushi, until I saw a tweet and I could not be with this person. It's 100% fine if there's something that you don't like out there, I really don't eat a lot of meat. I don't eat a lot. But if you are an eater of pretty much everything and you don't have any dietary restrictions, or even philosophically, you can just say, I don't eat anything that was associated with an animal, fine. But when you do eat meat and you do eat fish and you do eat everything, and you tell me that chicken parm is overrated, chicken parm is overrated. That's what this girl on Twitter said. And the only thing that I could respond, and this is the truth, this is the equivalent of me being a vampire and somebody showing me the cross. I read that and I really was like, and I started to just peel back into myself. This girl, and my guess is if I saw her on Twitter, she's got a big ass, she's hot and all that stuff. I couldn't do it. If I can't take the one night stand from Margot Robbie for that type of rock, paper, scissor joy, then I can't be with somebody. I mean, if you had my blood tested, which was, and I do open those results in a week or two, the chicken parm is coming up positive, because that's how much I eat of it ever since childhood. And to see somebody think that it's overrated, you know what? Let's end on the high note. Before I go, I want to give everybody a reminder out there. I think I want to make this a podcast norm. I showed those kids who just lost their minds in euphoria because of the rock, paper, scissor thing that they did during a graduation. Here's another reminder. We should call this the I wouldn't even be excited if Margot Robbie called me and asked for a 2-night stand portion of the podcast. These kids are just in like a college hallway, and a long putt is made. And I'll add this video in. The euphoria you see from everybody in this hallway, I'm pretty sure I'll never be that happy again. Everything's going well in my life. Everything. Even if I open those chicken parm test results and they tell me, Andy, you're Benjamin Button. You're better than when you were a teenager. I still wouldn't cheer. The full Margot Robbie 1-night stand. It's going to put a smile on my face. I'm going to have a nice little shuffle, but I won't be that happy. And it's just a reminder, if you can, you definitely should be. So, well, that actually is that was not a pot. It's a hey, we're working on it. We're working on it. And in the meantime, you guys should subscribe to the channel here if you enjoy this show or any of my sports betting shows, because that's going to be the end of today's episode. Thank you so much for coming back. Always bear with me. Sometimes you get a couple weeks in between episodes, but I need this. This is how I flex my creative muscles. No, this is just where I talk nonsense, but this is something that I'm never going to stop doing as long as I got the time. So hopefully you guys enjoy it. Do me a favor, like and comment on the video, just like you would for my sports betting videos. Everything helps. And tell somebody about it who you think might enjoy it. Very much appreciated. I look forward to the next episode when we do this once again. I'm pretty certain it will still be in the fall when I'll be at my happiest like I was today. All right, everybody, take it easy, and I will see you soon, I'm sure, for more of my sports stuff. Later.